So you want to check out some live music tonight in Ottawa, but you're not sure of where to start looking? Maybe you're not even sure what you're in the mood for. I've got a website for you. Go to Ottawagigs.ca. They have everything you need. Bands, artists, styles, venues, times, even the cost to get in. It's all at your fingertips on an easy-to-use website, Ottawagigs.ca. Go discover the incredible talent, the amazing venues, and the exciting nightlife that Ottawa has to offer. Start your night with Ottawagigs.ca, your guide to the gig.
This is Andrew from Curl, and you're listening to Ego and Vice.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Hey, how's it going? This is Mike. This is Ego and Vice. This is episode 159. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm sorry I have been so distant. I'm like a shadow in the night. Where'd he go? I'm super busy with my bands and all the other shit that comes with my life. And Ego and Voice, apparently Ego and Vice podcast is my labor of love. It is something I'm very, very proud of. And by no means do I want to make it seem like it's taking a back seat to all the other stuff that I'm doing. Because in those quiet times, in those isolated lockdowns, even in the times when life was great, Ego and Vice was always there for me. So I'll always come back to it. But prioritize, as they say. We have to prioritize our lives. And that's what I'm trying to do. June is going to be a very busy month for me. Next week, well, actually, this Saturday, I'm in the studio with Goat, recording our new song. Next Thursday, at the Dominion, Goat is playing its big comeback show. Not really comeback, but here we are again. With a band called Family Man and my son, the Doctor, from New York, Brooklyn, I believe. The next 2 nights over on Saturday, the Riptides are playing Ripfest, our record release party. Burn After Listening with the Ripcords, and my friends Wet for Days. Awesome band. The following Saturday, I'm doing an acoustic opener for the New Hires. Max called me up and said, hey, how would you like to do this? And I said, absolutely. The New Hires in the Hunt Club at the Rainbow. You should check that out. And then the following Saturday, I'm playing a all-ages gig with Stage Riot Productions in Carlton Place. I'm going to sell some T-shirts is what I'm going to do there. Goat is playing there. It's going to be a great time. And I can't wait. So It's weird. It's weird to go from 0 to 160 overnight. Before, all I had was the podcast during my hiatuses. Now I've threw my hockey stick in the middle, and here we are. So bear with me. Ego and Vice will keep coming at you, but maybe not as fast and as furious. But at you just the same. Anyway, to the episode. Today on Ego and Vice, episode 59, I have 2 members of the local band, The Great Diversion. I have Mark, and I have Pat. Great band, awesome conversation. Episode ran long, as they always do. I try to go under an hour, but I'm finding it impossible. The conversations are just too good. Anyway, we're going to play a song by the Great Diversion. This is a song called Hold On. On the other side of that, we're going to come back with Mark, with Pat, with the Great Diversion, right here on Ego and Vice.
I gave you everything, but I guess it wasn't enough. You showed me how to swim, just to leave me in the middle of the ocean. It was not enough. So give me something to hold on. So give me something to hold on. 'Cause I don't think I can do this on my own. You said you need some time, so I stopped the clock. But I think that you forgot me, 'cause I'm drowning in a sea of lies. So give me something to hold on. So give me something to hold on. 'Cause I don't think I can do this on my own. So give me something to hold on. 'Cause I don't think I can do this on my own. So give me something to hold on. 'Cause I would rather die, I would rather die, I would rather die.
Hey, we're back. This is Mike. This is Ego and Vice, episode 159. As promised in the intro, sitting here in the confines of the glorious Southwood studio are two members of the Ottawa band, the Great Diversion. We have Mark
Yes.
and we have Pat.
That's it.
How are you enjoying your long weekend? What have you done so far?
Well, I was up north with my wife to visit my in-laws, so I just drove back today. Nice little chill day, listening to other podcasts in the car.
Very good.
And I saw some friends, saw some family, and that's about it. So it was a calm but beautiful long weekend.
My long weekends, I look at them as I have an extra day to do nothing.
Yeah.
Some people say, I'm not sure what you did up north, but some people say, what are you doing on your long weekend? Oh, I'm getting all the guys together, or all the family together. We're going to go down to the lake. We're going to rebuild the dock. We're going to chip some barnacles off the bottom of the boat. And I'm just like, how is that a long weekend? You're just going to, that sounds like a lot of work. For me, a long weekend is I get to come home. I get to sit on the couch. I get to hang out with my cat. I play video games one extra day.
There you go.
And
So
that's
you win. You
that's-
understood the mission.
I won the long weekend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I beat it.
It's a bonus Sunday.
The long weekend is the big boss. The big bad.
The big bad.
Crushed him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. What is this long weekend? May 2 for?
it is.
Exactly.
It may run, as we say up north as well.
Oh, May. No, we used to call it in Thunder Bay. Oh, speaking of up north, I'm from Thunder Bay,
Yes.
so I know the north. Well, northwestern.
Yeah.
I always say I was born in a snowstorm. This weekend we used to call May Long. That's what we used
Okay.
to call it.
May long.
And up here it's May 2-4, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's
A
called?
lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
May 2-4 and then
In Timmins, we do May run.
May run.
May Run.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nobody runs, though.
No, run to the beer store.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Because
That's the run they do.
everything's closed on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So the Great Diversion. As I always say, I'm not a professional journalist, so I try and dig up as much dirt on the band as I can.
There you go.
But the best thing to do is just hear it straight from the horse's mouth, or the horse's mouth. Why don't you introduce yourself? Say what you do in the band,
Yeah, for sure.
and maybe give us a little backstory of your history in music.
I'm Mark. I'm the singer and guitar player for the Great Diversion, and we started this band in 2015.
15.
So it's 10 years already, which is
Yeah.
crazy to us. And yeah, want to introduce yourself, Pat?
Yeah, I'm Pat. I play bass in the Great Diversion. Not here is our drummer, Simon,
That's
who
true.
was supposed to be here and got a little sick. So thoughts and prayers that go out to Simon.
Thoughts and prayers. Hang in there, Simon.
Yeah. Mark and Simon are brothers. I don't
Yep.
know if that
Oh.
came out in your research, but I get along with two brothers in the band, so that's a part of it.
I too am in a band called the Riptides, and the
Oh,
bass
yeah.
player and the singer are twin brothers.
Oh, they
Yeah.
win.
So
They win that game.
yeah, they have the same birthday because they're twins. But
Yeah.
the crazy thing is I met these guys randomly out of the blue. I have the same birthday as them.
No way.
3 guys in the same band with the same birthday. How about
Wow.
that? It's crazy,
That's a
right?
good party right there.
Those
yeah.
chain restaurants must hate you.
Well, we're getting old now, so we don't really go out and celebrate it
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
The guys have like kids and wives and stuff, and for some reason that's more important than what I want to do with them. Right? So they're like, yeah, not this year, not this year. But yeah, we've had a couple of good blowouts. You said Simon had a bit of a fever.
Yeah.
I want to thank Simon for not coming here and trying to tough it out, because Southwood Studio is a bit of a small space. We don't need fevers.
No,
None of
that's
us
true.
need fevers. Ruin our barnacle scraping long weekends.
There you go.
So how did the band get started?
Funny enough, Patrick was our the manager for another band that we had, a French band called Acclaim, and he was the manager for this band, booking tours and all that stuff. And we did a lot of shows. It was mostly like school and festivals and in the French scene. And then we got along really well. Realized that we wanted to make a band together because that band was falling apart. And then
We had a
just-
lot of same influences.
Exactly.
Kind of came from the same scenes. Although I grew up in Timmins, they grew up in Hawkesbury, so we had a lot of points in common music wise. And then we kind of decided to just start jamming, see if we could write some music together. At first, we did choose to do it in English this time because we didn't want to compete with the original Acclaim, the original French band.
Exactly.
Yeah, we kind of picked up from there. We released an EP in 2015 in February, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I guess as brothers too, you guys were destined to always play together. Like as having a drummer and a guitar player singer, you'd pretty much do whatever you wanted to.
For sure. And what's funny is that I actually told my brother I wanted him to get a drum because I just wanted to play drums when I was younger. So I told him, you should ask for a drum for your birthday.
So you
And
could use
so
it?
I could use it. So it's very selfish.
Diabolical.
yeah,
Yeah,
big,
exactly.
big brother energy.
But the thing is, he liked it and he's really good. So it worked out. And now that's what he does. He's a professional touring drummer. So
Right?
I guess it worked out.
Oh yes, you said he played in other projects and that, eh?
Yeah, exactly. He plays in another project that tours pretty much, not all the world, but he goes pretty far. So yeah.
Well, I gotta say, I spent the last few days listening to the tunes, and very, very commendable playing. Like, you guys are very, very good players.
Oh, thank you very much.
And the drumming, what makes I think what makes a band, if your drummer sucks, your band kind of sucks.
That's true.
Or if your singer sucks, your band kind of sucks. Drummer and singer. As long as you got a good drummer and singer, you have heavenly pipes for the vocals, and that drumming. Nowadays, back in my day, it wasn't as directed towards that syncopated that double kick with the guitar, but the playing on the records are something else. Like, where does that come from? Are you self-taught? Did you just pick up the stuff and just started figuring it out, or?
The first time I played an instrument was a bass, and I created my own song. So for me, it was always I didn't even try to cover a song or something. I was I want to create noise. I want to create something. So for me, it was always to write stuff. It was a way for me to express myself, obviously. So that's how it started for me. And I think all the influences, obviously we were big into metal and all the metalcore and the emo scene and in the early 2000s. So that's what really is, I guess that's what we're trying to do, but in our own way in 2025 now. But yeah, I went to University of Ottawa to study classical guitar, actually. So I have this background, and Pat is self-taught.
Yeah, self-taught.
Did you take lessons? I never asked you this.
I took a
Bass
little bit
lessons?
Piano lessons.
Piano,
when I was
yeah,
a
I
kid.
remember that.
Piano in theory, and then I come from a musical family, so my dad and my grandfather play French Canadian folk music, the fiddle and all that. Okay. I kind of back them once in a while when we get together. But other than that, I was just kind of influenced by those punk bands that
Stuff
would
you
tour
listen to, yeah.
throughout Canada, and they would somehow stop in Timmins because it was a Tuesday and they had an empty night, so they put on a show instead of just driving through. And and I did cover bands with my friends in high schools and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. I understand what you mean about writing your own stuff, and I've brought this up before many times on the podcast, is that I was always so shitty at playing covers because I always thought I butchered them. I did, I always called myself a meat and potatoes guitar player. I can get you to A to Z.
Yeah.
But it might be a rough ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially at first when there was no tabs and you couldn't find those things online, right?
Exactly. But even that, it was just I don't have the dexterity to do a lot of fancy stuff. I'm a glorified rhythm guitar player, and that's where I fit. That's my place in the world, and I'm happy there. I know my role. To play with a really good lead guitar player, as long as I'm keeping with the rhythm, I'm happy. And but I too am a singer vocalist.
Yeah.
So a little simpler the better for sometimes. You know what
You're
I mean?
right.
Yeah.
I do way too complicated stuff in studio, and then I hate myself when I play live.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I don't think about future Mark. So this sucks.
Right.
Yeah, we laugh at him all the time because he always writes parts and then he has to figure out how to do the lead while singing.
I watched a video with Chris Hanna from Propagandy.
Yep.
Okay.
And they asked them, they're like, well, how do you write your? Because they're very intricate, the propaganda
sure.
stuff. There's so much
It's
going
crazy,
on there,
yeah.
right?
It's fast, yeah.
And it's in, weird tunings, and it's just there's so intricate stuff, and he sings over top. And they asked him how do you do it? Do you write it with it? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I think most of the time we write the music, and then we have to crowbar the lyrics on top of it somehow, and then it just kind of works out.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
We usually we always write the music first, and then we always have a melody, but then we'll do Pat and I, and Simon as well, but Pat and I usually will be together and we'll write the lyrics, and then we fit whatever the melody I have, and then Pat finds words that are better than mine. Then I tell him that I can't sing them because it doesn't fit with the syllables and everything. Then we get a fist fight, but it's all good.
A little fill in the blanks there because Mark has the melody down pat, and it usually goes with the riff that he came up with or whatever. So yeah, it
all comes together for us. But then the lyrics is the last part for sure.
Yeah.
But no, there's always this. I don't think it's as complicated as Propagandy for sure. So I wouldn't compare ourselves to that. But there is some parts that I'm like, why did we do this to each other for sure?
Yeah,
yeah, that's fair. You had mentioned metal and stuff like that, and you listen to guys like the big major metals like a Dave Mustaine or even Hetfield. Some of the shit that he sings, the vocals accompany
Yeah,
on
Dave's
top
is
of
crazy.
on top
well,
of that
James
shit
too, but
is just it's like you take your brain and you just chop it in half and you
Yeah.
move this side over here, and it's just like, it's insanity. I've sat there and tried to figure it out, and my writing has always been it happens at the same time. The guitar will be something kind of easy to play, and then for me it's the hook, the melody over top of, like, I'll
Yeah, for sure.
la 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 something over it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I hate it because it sounds like everything else, but then I find that one thing that's like, ooh, but I can always sing because it was written with the guitar, right?
Right.
It's very, very rarely I'll write like a riff, and then I'll have to put something on top of it. Usually that'll just stay as a riff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
see.
know?
Yeah, for us it's like it depends, but we write together as well. Then we write all separately. So sometimes like different parts will come in and it's going to be different. We'll put it together, and I think that's the difference between a band and just a single like a solo artist. A band is if you can get together and jam and create noise
together,
in
yeah.
a room. I find like even though we work with computers and we use all the newest tools and everything,
Sure.
but I find like to sit down in a room and blast some amps, and it's still the best way for us to
Well,
to
you
create.
even mentioned it. You get mad at yourself live later. You can use all the tools you want.
Yeah, exactly.
But if someone gets used to listening to that, and then you're at a show and they say, "Play blah blah blah,"
Yeah,
you're like, well, I guess we gotta play it, right?
Yeah.
So you better be able to do at least the closest facsimile thereof, as
For
they
sure.
say.
And with Mark, it's not only the playing, but it's also the tones in the pedals, right? Because he's tap
Oh.
dancing his pedals, stuck at his mic stand while he's singing, trying to do the lead, going into the solo, coming back to the
And
chorus.
trying to be a front man.
Trying to be
Yeah.
a front man too, So
Man, I marvel at that. Some guitar players where they have the massive like pedal board, or they have like the axe effects or something, and they're like, you said tap dancing.
Yeah.
he's tap
Yeah,
dancing,
where you're tap dancing. Like, I have trouble turning my volume up a bit and hitting distortion and down. Like, it's just I get lost. Instead I go to hit my distortion, I'll hit my tuner. Everything just
Then
shuts
everything
down.
mutes.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, right. Yeah, and then like I don't understand like that. But anyway, it is what it is. Speaking of writing, back in 2015, that's when the band started. You said,
Yeah.
right? You released an EP called Rocks and Rapids.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's the one I listened to first.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Production sounds awesome. Sounds so clean, yet still, kicks you in the face at the same time.
I love that. That's exactly what we're going for.
Well,
so.
there you go. I am a listener and a fan, so I'll tell you straight. Can you talk a little bit about Rocks and Rapids? How did it come about? Where you recorded it?
It's all we did it all together. So we did, my brother and I and Pat. We recorded that at actually at Lee's Avenue, one of those towers. The
170, 180, and 190?
exactly, you got it. I think that one was at 170, if I'm correct, because
first
I
one,
did
yeah.
I did two of those towers, and my
sixth-
brother did another one
6th floor, maybe?
on the 6th floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Like in the apartment?
In the apartment.
How are your neighbors? Okay.
They were
The downstairs neighbor actually came and knocked
A few times.
and asked Simon to stop playing his bass drum.
I was
Yeah.
going to say,
No,
there was like full-on drums.
it was electronic
but
drums.
the
Oh,
pedal
okay, yeah,
could
it's
still
still-
resonate. Yeah.
yeah.
But
you
the
can still
pedal
get
like
them.
just travels through anything, especially if there's a downstairs and there's like a tenant or something,
yeah.
which it's the case because there's a lot of people
But
in those
funny
buildings.
enough, in one of those songs, "I'll Never Be the Same Again," in the beginning, there's this kind of like a ringing, knocking noise, and it was the construction that they were doing on the 417, the off ramp.
Oh, yeah.
And Simon actually just like put a mic out in his window and
Just put a
I think they were
57.
driving those big metal pillars there in the concrete there.
Yeah. So we
that-
used it.
Yeah, and you can hear it still, and we even put it live in the in the track.
Very,
Yeah,
so,
it's
very
true.
cool. Captured forever
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the track.
But we really wanted with that EP, when we started the band, we started jamming, we started getting a few songs. The intention was to have something recorded before we played any shows, so
Yeah.
that we could, send that out to promoters and have that released and say, okay, this is what we're doing.
Which was a first for us because every
Yeah.
other band we had, obviously you play shows, you have nothing recorded, and then you figure out you're going to record. But and it was actually it's the first thing that Simon and I we were still doing recording together. It's the first thing we put out, so it's literally the first thing we recorded and self-released.
That's
which
impressive, though, because
we're very happy with that.
it's a very seasoned sounding EP as well. Like,
Thank you.
if I didn't know that was your first anything,
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, where's the first 5 albums? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
wow.
Yeah, but
That
you
means a
guys,
lot.
you know, you guys are brothers. Did they adopt you? Have they tried to adopt you into the?
We're
into the-
trying with it's very
Yeah.
complicated.
Lots of paperwork, lots of red tape.
Looks like the
Exactly,
family
yeah.
actually loves you or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you find what's the age difference between you and Simon?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm between both of them, so
All right.
Yeah.
I was just, do you as brothers and as you know you share the same blood? Do you know where you know how like I'm not saying you're twins because I jam with
It feels like
twins,
that though.
but
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. You've been doing it
Yes.
so long, stuff
we
like
we
that.
can
so.
we jam and we'll do the same punches and we'll do the same kind of runs and it's actually funny. I'll start laughing because I'm like, how do you know that that's where I'm going? But we've been listening to the same music like when we were young. Obviously, I showed him a bunch of music.
Yeah.
Now he has his own identity, obviously. But when it started, I showed him bands and I was like. Then I started being into Dream Theater. I was like, you need to listen to this drummer, Mike Portnoy. And then he's, it's all that stuff.
geez.
So together, and then, I showed him Blink when it came out. And so all that, and then we used to skateboard together. So we have like such a background of music
Yeah.
in so many ways, So it's crazy to see that we can actually write on the fly. And that's how we do it. And the thing is, Pat, since we've been doing it for 10 years, actually knows where we're going as well. And he will anticipate stuff, and so it's the same thing. So we're 3 now that thinks the same ways. It really helps with writing for sure.
Yeah, well, you can't beat the brotherly chemistry, but if you find like someone who's not, blood related, I guess, and you have that chemistry, you can't buy that chemistry. That is something that just happens naturally, and that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's very hard to find.
It is.
That's why bands break up.
It's also hard to find good bass players, and we have a great one in the band, and he tones
go.
well, and he plays well, and he screams well, and he looks like he could kill you, so it's perfect.
I'm trying not to look him directly in the eye as he sits 5 feet from me. How did what was the reception of the EP? Did it go over well with the people that heard it, or?
yeah, we released it on the day of our first show. That was at Mavericks, and so we played the songs kind of before anybody kind of heard the EP.
Mm-hmm.
We sent it out to a few contacts that we had from other bands in the scene, and generally it was well received, and we kept booking shows with it, so that kind of worked out. I don't really remember. It was still iTunes back then too, so
Yeah, it was not on this like streaming.
Yeah, it wasn't Apple
platforms.
Music yet, so
Yeah.
we actually saw it move up in the store,
Very
the
good.
top 10 or whatever in that genre, and
Yeah, which was crazy.
that was pretty cool. I don't know how the algorithm worked for how like the local bands would get up next to like Periphery and that kind of
Yeah.
global reach music there, but yeah, so that was cool. It's so different back then too, right? Like
For sure.
Yeah.
people were asking for CDs a lot, like at shows, and like we never printed any CDs.
We never printed any CDs. We're like, well, this is over. But it's funny, like,
Well, you
no.
still can if you want.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe we should.
We still get the odd.
We still
ask,
do.
Yeah.
But no, it was well received, and that's how we wanted to we wanted to put something out and to make sure that we were able to book shows with and already have like somewhat of a not a fan base, but like something to propose so people could listen to us when they have no clue who we are on the bill, which is it's a thing. Sometimes you look at a poster and you're like, I don't know any of these bands, or I only know one. So if we have something to actually like show, then sometimes it can help.
Well, that's like touring. When you
Yeah.
go to a new town, nobody knows who
Exactly.
you are.
That's it.
Yeah.
So let's give it a shot in our hometown.
Yep.
How'd it go?
Went well.
Yeah.
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 Well, you're still here.
We're still here.
We had this issue. It's less an issue now, I think, but back then, a lot of bands in Ottawa were like screaming, heavy metal bands. So our first show, I remember, we were playing the songs and we played a slower one, and there was these few guys in front, like it was the first row, yelling at us like, "Just scream! Why aren't you screaming?
Oh,
Just
boy.
scream!" And we were kind of stuck in that weird scene where we'd play with those like metal bands or hardcore or metalcore bands,
And that's what they wanted.
Where we'd
That's
be
what the
where
crowd
we'd
wanted.
be like the poppiest band on the bill,
Yeah.
and then we'd play with pop punk bands, which were
And
pretty-
you'd be the heaviest.
and we'd be
Exactly.
the heaviest because
So
we'd
we're
do
always
big
in
breakdowns.
between. Yeah.
So we'd kind of be like stuck in between, like never really playing with.
That's
bands
awesome,
that
though,
matched up.
right?
Yeah,
Because you stand out.
exactly.
Yeah. Well,
not-
I used to say like, we love to be your guilty pleasure on this, on this
Yeah.
lineup
Yeah.
tonight.
I think shows sometimes. I understand why they do it. You put together a metal show or a punk show, you want to get like 3 or 4 punk bands, 3 metal bands, but
Mixed bills are so fun though.
right, like have like
You don't get bored.
have the 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
have,
right.
have the metal band, the punk band, and like the blues band or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And just, a little something for everybody. And
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? What a great segue into playing a song. This song is called Colors by the Great Diversion, right here on Ego and Vice.
You never seem to see how I feel. But when I take the leap, we always disagree. It's only a matter of time before we cease to dream in color. We live in black and white and free ourselves from what we feel. We both rest in dead silence. High and dry through this liquid ground. We only hope to survive. It's only a matter of time before we cease to dream in color. We live in black and white and free ourselves from what we feel. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. Sink or swim, either way we lose it all. We lose it all. Sink or swim, sink or swim. We lose it all. We lose it all. Sink or swim, sink or swim. We lose it all. We lose it all. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before we cease to dream in color. We live in black and white. We free ourselves from what we feel.
So the next release was in 2020, and you had a full-length album, if you will. It was called This Is It, This Is the End. 2020, that's 5 years.
I
Yeah.
know.
What happened? What did you do in the meantime?
A lot of shows.
Yeah, we did play a lot of shows.
Played a lot of shows. We also have a French project together, which is named Jolie, which has been touring as well. And my brother, like I said, plays in another band. So that's our biggest problem is we play in a lot of different projects. So when we try to get together and write, Usually when we get together, it's to jam, rehearse, and then play shows.
Gotcha.
So we have to literally book time for us to write.
Right. So
And
it's not neglecting the project. It's just getting around to it because of all
Exactly.
the other
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
It's like an order. Yeah, I get it.
We've had rehearsals where we rehearse for 3 different shows, 3 different projects. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
it gets a little hectic, but
Yeah, I've heard like I'm in 2 bands. I've been in one band for 15 years and one band for 8 years. I know the difference between the two, and it's all different people. I
Yeah.
think it'd be so weird to be in one band and be like, okay, that's enough of that practice. Nobody goes anywhere. Okay, let's practice the other stuff.
It's literally what we do sometimes.
That's crazy.
It is insane, but we have to change the gear because it's not the same kind of music. So we change gear around. My brother changed snares, changed cymbals. I changed literally pedal board, and then we just practice the other project, and then we go on tour. We've never done a show where we did both of those shows at the same time, though. But within the same weekend, yes.
yes, yeah.
Which is crazy.
If you had to, I won't say label, but if you had to name what style of music both bands were, like the Great Diversion. It's like metal, emo.
Yeah.
We have a hard time putting a label on it,
At,
but
at first, like in 2015, we used to call it post-hardcore.
yeah.
Post-hardcore.
And then we kind of dropped that, and we called it just rock for the longest time. And nowadays we call it emotional rock. So
Yeah.
we kind of like slid into that emo phase because it's reminiscent of early
Of course.
2000 emo, right?
I understand it's super hard when you get that question to name like what your band is, right? People always ask, what kind of band you got? And you go, and you go on this long musician-winded
you
kind
do.
of explanation.
Yeah.
What would you, but I'm going to ask you again, what would you name the other band? I'm just curious,
yeah.
weighing the difference between the two
Like
styles.
folk rock. I
Folk
guess.
rock?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a complete left turn, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that's not the greatest label either.
Well, again, there's an emo component to it.
Yeah, for sure, always.
I usually kind of say that if people enjoy CD in color, especially the earlier stuff, they'll enjoy Jolie, which is named Simon and Mark's last name, right?
Exactly.
It's kind of based on that, but yeah, so it's definitely a folk rock, but maybe a little more emo rock with capital
It's
R
more
on
rock
the
than
rock.
folk. It's more rock than
Yeah,
folk for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of folk elements
Yeah.
inside of that.
Whenever I ask that question, or whenever I get asked that question, I've been in that position where I try and explain it. Now I either say, I'm in a punk band, or I'm in a rock band.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
I just leave it there.
Yeah.
That's
Because-
why we used the rock for the longest time too,
Yeah.
because we didn't know how to say it differently.
Because usually the people asking don't give a shit anyway.
That's
they're,
true.
They're just like, oh,
Like
you
now
know,
they know.
If
They're
you
like,
go
yeah.
if you go like, oh, post emo
Yeah, they're like,
volcano,
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
It won't change
is that
anything.
is that like Metallica?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it's exactly like Metallica.
you're right though. What would you say our band is? What do you think the genre would be?
Well, like I said, it was kind of it's kind of like alternative. I don't even know if I can say thrash, emo, hardcore. It's got some punk elements. Like that's me speaking as a
Yeah.
music fan and a
Yeah.
musician. But it's a rock band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There we go.
It's rock and roll.
It's rock and
Yeah.
roll.
So, this is it. This is the end. What do you mean?
Well, sometimes you have to, to change chapter in a book, but we had to literally burn it. So that's what we had to do. With the 5 years that went through, everyone lived a bunch of different stuff, and that's what we wanted to talk about. And for us, it was like the end of this. I don't want to say darker era, but I guess in a way.
Yeah, because that first EP, we were all still in university.
We
kinda
didn't
just-
know anything.
We didn't have full time jobs. We didn't have not all of us were in serious relationships. We didn't own any properties or anything. So we kind of like grew out of that phase, I guess. It's, I guess it's kind of like that. And we also got really tired of playing those same 4 or 5 songs from that EP.
That's
So
true.
this is the end of those songs. Especially there's a few of them that we kind of put on a shelf and we don't really take out often.
So it was the end, but it was actually signifying a new beginning.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
exactly.
Ooh, that's profound. Now, this was a full album. as opposed to the original or the first EP? Was it recorded at the Lees Towers?
No, it was actually.
And you did it yourself again?
Yeah, we
Yes.
did it ourselves. It was recorded in Vintlikill, so where Beau's All Natural is situated, for people that remember the names but don't know.
I know the guys from Audio Visceral, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauchesne.
Yeah,
Outside of
exactly.
Beauchesne,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary, the drummer for Audio Visceral, I grew up with him in Thunder Bay.
No
Oh,
way.
wow.
I didn't know he was from Thunder Bay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Another Thunder Bay.
Small world, right?
Small world.
Yeah, so right on the side
That
of
was
the
my train of
64.
thought.
Yeah, so in
Oh, yeah,
Vancouver Hill,
recording.
right on the side of the 64.
34.
34.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, 34.
34.
Yeah. And yeah, we needed to take some breaks sometimes when the tractor trailers would pass by because it was pretty loud and that house was really close to the highway. So.
That's
Right,
true.
right.
Yeah, and that's where we recorded everything, and then
we did some crowd vocals.
That is true. Oh,
in-
during the
Yeah,
pandemic,
during the pandemic.
at Pat's place.
Yeah, you were on my deck and
Yeah.
I was in my kitchen through the patio door
Yeah.
because we were still practicing social distancing back then.
Yeah.
Right? I guess 2020 would be
It was the summer.
an interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
right.
the summer
So it was
of-
already kind of lockdown stuff.
It was like
It was starting
off and
to
on
open.
and back
yeah.
off again. Yeah.
Which is why we were like, oh, this October is going to be a perfect month to release it because everything's going to open up again, you know? And then
little did we know.
exactly, to our big surprise, it didn't. So that's why we've been touring this album still, you know, because a lot of people don't know about it, and we're still, you know, sharing the good news that we have this album, and we still love and are very proud of this album. So and everywhere we play, like we've been playing a lot more on the Quebec side recently, because we play with the label that we're on. Hell for Breakfast is from Montreal, so we've been lucky enough to play a lot of different cities on the Quebec side, and everyone that listens to us, like they don't know us, right?
Yeah.
We're there, we're touring, we're promoting the album, and it's always the same things, like, oh, I didn't know you guys existed, and then they go listen to the album, and we see the stats just are, you know, keep growing, and everything keeps growing. So.
Well, that's the beauty of music, right? Like, that's how you find music. And finding music when I was a kid was the greatest thing in the world. When you'd find a new band or you'd find an... I always say, I can't find music the way I used to.
That's true.
Like, I listen to it now, and it's like, maybe it's because there's so much of it out there, and you just don't give it as much time. But I remember when I used to discover bands, they'd become such an important thing.
Your
Now-
favorite thing.
Now I'm
for
just
sure.
now I'm just kind of 30 seconds of a song a band worked like months on. I'm like,
Meh.
Yeah.
it's a shame.
I know.
And I think everyone
It's
does
too
that,
easy.
right?
Yeah, for
It
sure.
really is too easy. But you must have done something right, because this is it. This is the end. Won best production and arrangements at the Capitol Music Awards.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
What? Tell us about that. How does that feel? That feels pretty good if you're doing it yourself, a DIY project.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Again,
amazing.
done amazingly well, mind you.
Thank
but
you so much.
Yeah. Well, we were actually planning on self-releasing that one as well. And we released a single, which is Colors, is the single from that album. We released it in August, was it? Or
Yeah,
September?
exactly. No, August, you're right.
And, self-release, kind of just put it out there. And that's when we got the call from Jesse at Hell for Breakfast. And he was like, okay, guys, like, we knew him from before, from other projects. But he's like, guys, what is this band that you guys are doing? Like, oh, we've been playing since 2015, have another EP out. And he's like, man, like, I want this on my label.
No.
So we had kind of like to pull back the album from
Literally
online
remove it from
and
online.
then have them upload it. So that was a kind of eye opening to see, like, oh, there's something going on with that with those recordings. And then with the Capitol Music Awards, it was just we kind of on a whim, we just kind of put it in all the categories that could possibly apply to us, and we were stoked to get the nomination. Honestly, I
yeah, just the
wasn't-
nomination. We're so happy.
I really wasn't sure that you were gonna take it home, but yeah, it was a very nice surprise and nice to get that recognition, especially for a band in that scene.
You're right.
We don't have a huge following. Our Instagram isn't blowing up.
Yeah.
It was just very cool to have that recognition from
Well,
our
I had
peers.
been listening to the first EP.
Yeah.
The one you've completely denounced. But it's still an important part of your history.
It is.
Rocks and Rapids, and I even mentioned it like to myself before I read about the music awards, and I even said, like, it sounds great. Like, it sounds really, really top-notch pro. So the second one sounds evolved, just as good. it's a validation that you're doing something right? That award, like awards, man. But still,
No,
that's
you're right.
pretty
But
fucking cool.
And I find for this kind of award, which is what's really nice about it, is it was all people from the Junos that did this category. So it was
the
all
jury,
people
yeah.
for the jury. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So
So they know what sounds good.
they kind of do, I think,
Yeah.
right? So
The
it
ears
was
on that
awesome for us to
jury
know
are
that,
probably,
and they told us after the fact, obviously. But but we were so grateful that we would just the nomination and the fact that we don't. It's not pop music, you know. Obviously, there's pop elements, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's not your typical thing that could win. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was very cool for us and a big win for the rock industry. I find
It's a
Ottawa.
testament to the hard work that Mark and Simon put in, and the research and finding the tones, finding the drum tones. Just like you guys work hard, and I'm happy to be at the table, but I'm not in the studio. I'm not in front of that computer.
You're
Which-
there quite often. though.
I'm there, and I'm saying, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm also saying that sounds great 2 options before that.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
It's definitely the brothers that work hardly. And
Well,
Thomas
it begs to
going
be
crazy.
asked too. What came of that? Have you had people come seeking your skills as an engineer?
Yes, well, my brother and we do this like on a daily basis where we record for other
So
people.
you do. I was going to ask.
Yes.
Interesting.
But we, funny enough, both of our worlds didn't cross. So like we do. I never did any project in English, so all I do is French project. And I don't know why. And I've never done like a rock band. I can't wait to do another rock band that is not us, that I can like actually like have fun doing. And because rock music is still my favorite genre of all time, so
Cool.
it'd be awesome.
So that album released, you've been playing shows. It's now 2025. Another 5 years.
Yeah.
Same story. Just been busy with tons of other projects, getting around with that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Are there songs in the making for the Great Diversion?
Yes, we're actually.
Yeah. Can we expect what would you call that? What's every 5 years? Like a
Oh, I don't know the word for that.
Anyway, yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Why get fancy about it? Can we expect some new music within this 5th year?
For sure, within this 50 year, yes.
We do have songs. They're mostly complete. It's a question of scheduling and getting everybody in the same room and tracking the final version, because I got to say that the demos that Mark and Simon put together could be released and it would probably be fine, but not up to the standards of these guys. So we do need to retrack everything, but the songs are there. Maybe not an album or an EP. We might be moving to a couple singles instead. That's kind of what the vibe is right now, I guess.
For us to release some music, in within this year,
Yeah.
I would say that's the case for sure. Not that we can't do an album. We'll see, but everyone's schedule is kind of
Yeah.
all over the place, so it's harder for sure. But yes, new music.
Amazing. 2025. How's she look?
A couple
what
shows
would you like to see
and
from it?
obviously recording songs. So finish those songs. And I would love to release something in the fall. I think that would be that's the goal. I'm gonna say it in this podcast, so we actually have to do it.
Yeah.
And but no, that's we've been working for, and we'll get it done.
Awesome.
Yeah, 2 songs. That's my goal.
Yeah, let's do 2.
Cool. Before we play the question game called 13 Questions with the Band, did you have any last words you wanted to say? Anything we didn't cover, or any thank yous?
No, we want to thank you. Thank you for
thanks
inviting
having
us.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. I get to sit down with like-minded individuals, my peers,
There you go.
and talk music. What's better than that?
Nothing actually.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. 13 questions with the band. You ready to go?
Let's go.
We are.
Let's do this.
Time for 13 questions with the band. Yes, this segment's back again. It's called 13 questions, but I only asked 6, maybe 5.
Okay, this is 13 questions with Mark and Pat of the Great Diversion. Mark,
Yes.
what was the first physical music you ever bought, whether it be a CD, an album?
I think it's a cassette. And
A cassette
And,
even?
and I think it's the Spice Girls.
Which one? Spice World?
Well, in my opinion, it was the first one from my. But I don't know if it was the first one. I guess the first time they came out with whatever that was, and it didn't last long. After that, after that was Pennywise.
No.
So it went from Spice Girls to
that's
Pennywise.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as cute.
Pat.
There was a City Plus in the mall in Timmins, and we always used to go hang out there and listen to stuff. But I think my first one was S Club 7.
Oh, that's good.
And then followed by like Good Charlotte, and then right off the deep end into like Nirvana and stuff. So
Yeah, I see.
So it was the gateway.
yeah,
to S Club 7.
S Club 7.
sensing a trend here. Yeah. I went from the Chipmunks to Slayer.
Yeah, literally.
All right. Very cool. What was the very first live concert you ever saw?
Oh, my parents are like big at bringing us at concerts when we were young, so it was a kid show for sure. But then my first experience of like rock music was Velvet Revolver.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was in
There's
sixth
some
grade.
there's some heavy hitters in that old
Yeah.
project.
Yeah, so that was my first big rock show.
It was a French artist called Garou here in Gatineau. So we drove 8 hours to come see Garou, and he has a couple singles with Céline Dion. He's kind of like an international French artist.
And was it ever the thing you hoped it would be?
Oh, it was awesome. But my first local show, though, in Timmins, first hardcore show would be, it was a textbook tragedy. I think they're from BC, maybe. Anyways, it was cool. Just started hanging out with new friends. Like, hey, come to the show on a Tuesday night. Big X's on my hands because I was 15.
Underage.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Who would the Great Diversion love to open for?
Oh, that one's
Like a,
easy.
like a dream gig.
Under Oath.
Oh.
We would love to open for Under Oath.
That's
But
what
I'll
you-
let Pat. Which band?
Yeah, I was going to say Under Oath as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I think it would be awesome.
We did Silverstein a couple years ago
Yeah.
at the Brass Monkey, and that was really cool for us. And
That year we did like Author Nights, Silverstein,
Yeah.
Icy Stars. It was a
Yeah.
big year for opening bands. Yep.
Cool. Mark, what is your favorite song today?
Today?
Today.
Oh my God. I don't even know. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm gonna say what's that second song on that Under Oath album? Like Evil something. I'm gonna say that one.
That's my favorite song
Yes,
today.
right now.
That's fair.
What about you, Pat?
I've been hitting the gym a lot lately, and that's mostly where I listen to my music. Mostly listening to Gideon. Push It Back would be my favorite
There you
track there.
Cool. If you were stranded on a desert island and you only had one album for the rest of your, well, let's say 10 years, what would it be?
I'll let you go first, Pat.
Probably Nevermind by Nirvana.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Very good. That record is 29 years old now?
Yeah.
That's fucking insane, man.
And it still
And it
holds
still
up.
holds up.
Those songs are awesome.
Oh, wait, no. 91. 91 it was released. I'm thinking 94. That was In Utero. 91. So that's 34 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I had a moment there.
2 years before I was born.
Fucking hell.
I would say, I'm just gonna be stuck on Under Oath now. This sucks.
I thought you were going to say that Velvet Revolver album.
No. It was a good album. I think I'm gonna say Lost in the Sound of Separation from Under Oath.
Very good.
Under Oath fanboy. over
Yeah,
here.
clearly.
If you could hang out if you could hang out for one day with a musician or an artist, who would it be?
Dave Grohl. For
Oh.
me. Maybe pre-2025 Dave Grohl, because, there's a little bit of controversy lately. But
Well.
yeah.
Nobody's perfect. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Don't throw stones.
For me, can I say like an artist? Does it have to be music? Or just-
Anything you want. Anything you want.
I think Walt Disney.
Walt. Motherfucking Disney.
Yes, I think it would be awesome. He put the stereo into the cinemas. Like there was no stereo thing happening before. And I thought, like, I'm like, how can you do a cartoon and make sure that everyone in the States are gonna change their audio for your film? I find that's insane. So I think I have a lot of good conversation with him.
Very, very cool. Walt Disney. That's the first one, yeah. The Great Diversion, the movie. Who is going to play you?
Oh, that's
Mark.
easy for me because everyone tells me that I look like Jack Black, so I would say Jack Black.
Jack Black. Pat?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna say Jack Black for you, but you pick one for me.
Oh man, I don't know. You don't look like anyone else. You're so unique. I have
Trying
no
to find
clue.
like badass bald guys, probably like Stone Cold Steve Austin or something.
Yeah.
Yo, that's good.
I was gonna go wrestler. There's a wrestler. His name's Eric Rowan.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's
But he's redhead. He's
Yeah.
got the big
Yeah,
red
yeah,
beard.
yeah.
Yeah, but you got kind of an Eric Rowan thing going on there. Yeah. Okay. What's the most important lesson you learned being in the Great Diversion?
to respect my my bandmates and to talk to them and to communicate and tell them that I appreciate that we do rock and roll together. For me, that's exactly that would be it.
I kind of like grew into my bass player identity with this band. So kind of just knowing my role, you know, I'm basically the rhythm guitarist of this band. I got to move around because Mark's kind of stuck at his pedals and his mic. So kind of just knowing my role.
That's good.
Know your role.
Yeah, as
That's-
The Rock would say.
Know your role and shut your damn mouth or whatever. That's good advice for anybody, really. Just, play within your means, I
Yeah,
guand guess, and don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you
That's
say,
true.
meat and potatoes guitarist. I consider myself, I'm not the craziest bass player. I'm, I play the songs and I don't exaggerate. I play the parts,
Foundation.
and
You're a pillar.
I gotta hold it down,
But it's a
Absolutely.
big foundation.
Yeah,
It sounds
man.
great.
Because these two brothers are going crazy next to me. So.
Bands don't exist without guys like you.
Yeah.
They
That's
don't
true.
exist. The final question of 13 questions with the band with the Great Diversion. And this is for both of you. Who is the Great Diversion?
Just three guys having fun, writing songs, playing some rock music.
Yeah, it's a collective of individuals that love music, that want to create music they love for people who loves music.
And we really do create everything together. Like we collaborate on everything. There's no nobody comes up to the jam space with a full song.
And that's why it takes time.
That's why it takes time, but it's
Because
really
we could do that.
a collective creatively. So that's
It's very
really-
important for us.
3 brothers.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
sure.
There you go. Can't say it better than that. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks to you.
I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of 2025 and beyond. Let's do this again sometime.
I
Yeah,
would
for
love
sure.
Okay.
With Simon.
Yeah.
With Simon. Feel better.
With non-fever Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fever. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Big thank you to Mark and Pat for sitting in here in Southwood Studio and talking things all about the Great Diversion. Great guys, great band, great music. Way to go, Ottawa. You made another one. Anyway, if you want to listen to the podcast, please go to egoandvicepodcast.com. It has links to all the sites, all the streaming sites, YouTube, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a direct message to me, egoandvice@gmail.com. In the meantime, Goat at the Dominion, June 12th. Riptides at the Dom, June 14th. Catch the new hires with myself at the Rainbow on June 21st. And if you're in Carleton Place, check out Goat at, I don't even know where we're playing out there. But that is June 28th. That's Stage Right Productions. You can see it on all the socials. So, okay, that's it. I'm tired. I gotta go.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.